Good morning, everyone. My name is Amal. So today, I will be going through the next protocol that we have to discuss, which is SSH. So today I'll be talking more about how to secure the SSH, mainly like what is SSH and also the OpenSSH, and also how to secure the SSH connections using the OpenSSH applications on Linux. So the SSH or the secure shell is essential for remote over the server management, but if it is not properly configured, it can become a target for the attackers. So in this presentation, I will explain what is SSH and also the OpenSSH and how they work and also the best ways to hardening or secure them. So what is SSH? So SSH is a cryptographic network protocol used to securely access or manage the network devices and servers over an unsecured network. So in simple terms, it's just like a secure door that lets administrators or log into the secure system remotely, but with encryption, so no one can actually um, eavesdrop. So SSH replaces the older unsafe tools like Telnet or RLogin that send data, including passwords and plain text. So by encrypting the communication, SSH protects against the interceptions, hijacking, and also the data theft. So the important things to know about the SSH, the default port number is 22. And also some common uses are just like logging into the remote servers, secure file transfers with SCP or FSTP, running commands on remote systems, and also add-on creating secure tunnels or port forwarding. Because it is so widely used, SSH is often the first target attackers scan for when trying to compromise the systems, which is why hardening it is so important. So next, we're just going to talk about what is OpenSSH. So unlike the SSH, OpenSSH short for the Open Secure Shell is the most popular SSH implementation used on Linux and also the Unix-like systems. It's open source software developed by the OpenBSD project and also usually comes pre-installed on most Linux distributions. So the OpenSSH provides both server and client tool like SSH, SCP, and also FFTP. So this makes it good to the solution for secure remote management across networks. So next, we're just gonna go through some of the main OpenSSH components. So we're just gonna go through the commands and also the purpose of it. So the SSH connects to the remote server securely. SSHD, so the SSH daemon server side services. So the SCP securely copy files between the host. SFTP secure files transfer using SSH. SSH keygen generates and manages SSH keys, and also the SSH agent stores private keys for single sign-on. So together, all these components make the SSH powerful and also the flexible. All right, so next we're just going to talk about how SSH works. So here is how the communication happens. So the client start a connection to the server, usually on port 22. They exchange the cryptographic keys to set up a secure tunnel. So the server then authenticates this user either with a password or a cryptographic key. Once authenticated, everything sent through the SSH commands, files, data is encrypted and also protected. So even if someone intercepts your network traffic, they can even read what's inside because it's encrypted. Then why SSH security matters. So SSH is powerful, but misconfigurations can create serious vulnerabilities. For example, weak passwords or open root access can lead to the brute force attacks or unauthorized logins. Many security breaches begins with attackers exploiting poorly secured SSH services. That's why SSH hardening is essential to minimize the risk of compromise. So the common weaknesses in SSH setup. So some of the most common issues include like allowing the root logins, using weak or default passwords, leaving the default port 22 open to everyone, not monitoring the failed login attempts, and also failing to update the OpenSSH regularly. Each of these makes the system much easier to attack. So our goal is to fix on or harden these weaknesses pretty much. So next, we're just gonna go through the installation process. So the installing OpenSSH on Linux is simple. You can just use the sudo apt install and sudo apt install OpenSSH server/y. So then check if it's running. So sudo systemctl status ssh and start and enable it. So sudo systemctl start ssh, and also by enabling it using a sudo systemctl enable ssh. So once that's done, you can connect it to your server using your username and your server ID. So this is like the basic setup before you just begin hardening. So next, we're just gonna go through the configuration. So when securing or configuring the SSH securely, always follows a structured process. First, backup your SSH/config file, generate and copy your SSH key to the server, disable the root login and password authentication, charge SSH port if you want extra protection, restart the SSH service to apply changes. Finally, monitor the log authentication log for failed login attempts. Each of these steps add a layer of protection. So next, we're just gonna go through the hardening recommendations. So my first recommendation is just the key-based authentication. So the first and most important recommendation is to use the SSH keys instead of passwords. So you can actually generate a key pair using SSH keygen, then enable the pub key authentications and disable the password authentication in the SSH configuration file. So this method is far stronger because the keys are cryptographically secure and also cannot be easily guessed or brute forced. So it is one of the best defenses against automated login attacks. So my second recommendation is disable the root login or limit users. So next, disable the root login by setting permit root login no. So instead of you just use the regular user account and elevate the privileges with sudo, you can also restrict the SSH access to specific users or groups using the allow users or the allow groups directives. For extra protection, limit connections by IP address if possible. This way, only trusted users and systems can access your server remotely. And my third recommendation is the strong crypto or session controls. So the third recommendation is to strengthen the cryptographic and session systems. So use modern ciphers or key exchange algorithms such as AES or ED25519 and reduce the numbers of failed logins allowed by settings max auth tries. You can also use a firewall or rate limit like fail to ban to prevent the repeated login attempts. Precautions or best practices. So a few best practices to remember. Always keep a working SSH sections open while testing changes in case you locked or you lock yourself out. Regularly update both OpenSSH and also your Linux systems. Monitor for failed login attempts always. Use two-factor authentication for sensitive systems and also routinely review who has SSH access. Consistently maintain the key to staying secure. All right, so today's presentation, we pretty much talked about the what is SSH, what is OpenSSH, how to install it, how to configure it, what are the importance to secure it or harden it, and the 300 recommendations, and also the best practices. So that is pretty much it. We're just gonna cover. So anyone has any questions or anything, please let me know. Otherwise, everyone have a good day. Thank you.